The founder of Cardano is in the middle of the ocean looking for alien artifacts. Is this a bear market? This is Around the Blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure you go to hit that like button. Today's episode is brought to you by Tony's Vodka Sauce. We got some great guests today, including Forrest on the top left. He's got that new name, everybody. Make sure you follow his new place on Twitter. And guys, he did a breakdown on dust that will make you very, very bullish. You're going to have to follow his content. Forrest, how goes it?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Also on Army Piper, and Army might have some secret insight to alien technology. You're going to have to stick around to the third topic to find out. Army, did you have a good Father's Day?
I had a great Father's Day, dude. Spent it with my kids playing Fortnite.
Hey.
So, what's better than that?
All right.
Tried to get the dub. Tried to get the dub, got second place. It's okay.
Okay. As long as you, flossed on them or, maybe did a little dab on them. That's good. All right. All right. And then we have Crypto Crow. Crypto Crow, how do you like it when the Cardano founder searches for aliens? Is it a good thing?
I'm just pissed he didn't take me, man. He's going to need some security when them 8-foot grays start popping out of the ocean. Coming back.
An 8-foot gray versus a 7-foot Crypto Crow. That is I would pay big, big money to see. And then last but not least, we have Frankie Candles. Frankie, you've tasted the vodka sauce. What can I expect?
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, I can indeed vouch for Tony D's vodka sauce. 100% perfecto.
All right. Well, if we get enough likes, I'll do a live taste test, everybody. All right, well, let's look into the real crypto story of the day. That is Fidelity Bitcoin ETF. I want to pull up the world's top asset managers here. BlackRock, of course, is number one. They, potentially are going to be opening one up as of last week. Number 3, the second follow-up is Fidelity Investments. This is in trillions. So we're looking at 9 trillion or 9,000 billions for BlackRock. For Fidelity, almost 420 there, 4,240 billion, aka $4.2 trillion. There's a lot of people reporting this. It seems to stem from a rumor from Arch Public co-founder Andrew Parrish. So we'll see how this goes. But the rumor is they might even buy Grayscale ETF just as a way to jumpstart the competition there. With their finances looking a little opaque, Grayscale, we can see how much Bitcoin they have. 630,000 Bitcoin in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Right now, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is at a 35% discount here. Well, Forrest, I want to talk about just the odds of success here, because it was one thing for BlackRock. Everybody looked at BlackRock's track record. There are 575 yeses to 1 no when it comes to ETF application. Now we have Fidelity. Now we have BlackRock. I mean, is this basically a sure thing that we're going to get a Bitcoin ETF before, say, next couple of years?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, there's no such thing as a sure thing, but I think it's. I don't want to take the under on that bet. I don't want to bet against a 575-1 record, and I don't want to bet against BlackRock. BlackRock has a rich, no pun intended, rich history of getting what they want. They're the people that have the most money, and when you have the most money, you have the most power. So I highly expect that we'll get a Bitcoin ETF, and I highly expect that Bitcoin ETF and the ones that subsequently follow, right? Because once we've seen with the futures ETFs. Once they approve one, you see, 5 or 6 follow in the same week. I expect this to be extraordinarily bullish. I think this is the point of the market cycle where your DCA bros that aren't necessarily worried about Bitcoin dropping back down to 20K next week or a month from now are the ones that start outperforming for a period of time. We know the DCA and HODL mentality will get you in trouble in the bull or at the start of the bear market. You see a large drawdown, but this is the part where we're coming into the tail end of a bear market. Loading up into the next Bitcoin halving. All the big players are about to slam, or all the TradFi players are about to slam Bitcoin and probably Ethereum down their clients' throats. They have an army of advisors to push Bitcoin, an army of advisors probably ready to push Ethereum if they move into Ethereum next. I mean, this is the time to just DCA and HODL. This is the part of the market cycle where that's the strategy that makes a lot of sense.
All right, and we even got a +1 for Coin Bureau. No, Forrest may look similar to Guy. He is a guy, but he's the guy when it comes to Utes. not to be mistaken for Guy from Coin Bureau. But all right, Army. Well, you know what? No, I'm gonna jump to Frankie over here. Well, because we're looking at Grayscale potential buyout here with Fidelity. Well, there's a little thing called the CME gap, and so there's this, a gap between where traders expect Bitcoin to be, say at the end of a month versus where its price is. Sometimes it'll close the gap. There'll be a gap to the upside, gap to the downside. Sometimes, you could trade off these gaps. Sometimes they hit the targets pretty strongly there. If Fidelity comes in, puts even more money into Grayscale here, could we expect more attention on CME gaps and, institutional traders looking at certain levels? What will that do for people like you that just want to trade some Bitcoin to add to their bags? Muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, great question. And, for people who might not know, basically, the CME gaps are created because CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, is an exchange where a lot of institutions trade, right? And these exchanges are actually, they close trading for the weekend, right? And that's what creates that gap. Because as you guys know, crypto is 24/7, right? The market doesn't close. You could trade at 2:30 on a Saturday night if you want to, which I've never done, I swear. But it's basically these gaps are created because they close trading off for the weekend, right? So, say for instance, the price of Bitcoin's at $25,000. And then, the weekend comes, they stop trading. And obviously, Bitcoin is going to trade over that weekend. But then when they open up the exchange again, there's going to be a gap to where they close trading and where the Bitcoin price is, right? If you get a pump over the weekend, you're going to have a gap to the upside. And if it dumps over the weekend, you're going to have a gap to the downside. Now, these gaps do like to get filled. And obviously, being that a lot of institutions trade on these exchanges, it could definitely, could potentially put more focus on the CME gaps, right? You always see people saying like, oh, we have to go back down and fill the CME gap. It's not 100%, that you're going to go fill these CME gaps, but the percentages, statistics are pretty good. But yeah, I think it could bring more attention to people trading the CME gaps. For someone like me, maybe I would pay a little bit more attention to them, but just from a day-to-day perspective, it probably won't change the way I trade too much. But yeah, I guess in turn, it could actually could put more focus on those gaps. But to me, really all I'm focused on is taking into consideration that those gaps are there. Again, it's not 100% that they go fill the gaps anyway. But yeah, I would say it could put more focus on them for sure.
All right. Well, Army Piper, I do think it would be a little bit extra attention on there. Well, I got my attention on the Piper, the Pied Piper here. What do you think, with these institutional players? We have Fidelity, number 3 in assets under management. We have BlackRock, number 1 in assets under management. What does Bitcoin look like 10 years from now? Is it slow and boring like the stock market at this point? Is it a $250,000 Bitcoin? Is there no real discernible difference? What do you think the tail end effects are going to be?
I think the answer to that, DZ, is a hybrid, because I think it's going to become its own asset class. Just like there's the, stocks and commodities, you're going to have Bitcoin is going to be a commodity class. So what I see happening with that institutional money coming in, because, like Frankie was talking about, the CME gaps, they shut down, right? So you're going to have these targeted areas of fills that are going to be moved, gap ups and gap downs, right? I think that you're going to see a lot of the TradeFi money holding the foundation of Bitcoin pretty static, but I still think you're going to see micro volatility coming into play because of the traders. Traders like to shoot for those gaps, and so when we see that that's there, and we know that it's probably going to be moving to that gap because that's what we've seen with even in stocks, those gap ups, gap downs. I think we're going to be trying to trade into those ranges, and they're going to enjoy the relationship that they have with traders adding liquidity to the market while they are doing their gap up, gap down claims on an asset class of its own accord. I see 10 years from now that Bitcoin is going to be a lot more of a stable investment for people to get into because of this institutional investment that's going to come in. But I also see that it is going to be a money-making market for traders that know how to read the charts and look for those gaps and grab it when they can. You got to get the money when you can, man. So.
Hey, pick up that free money on the ground. Well, speaking of Gap, how about someone who could never wear Gap clothing? I'm sure it never fit. Crypto Crow. I want to pull up the companies with the most assets under management one more time. So we have BlackRock coming in, We have Fidelity coming in. Well, Vanguard still yet, State Street, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, especially these three, a lot of name recognition, maybe some, non-technical or non-financial literate people they've even heard of. If we see a gold rush of these other asset managers in the top 10 rush in, I mean, will we expect the dominoes to start falling? Will they rush in? Do they want to copy BlackRock and Fidelity? Or are they going to wait maybe a couple years and see how this plays out?
Well, I mean, are we just assuming that just because BlackRock's able to do it, that anyone else is going to be able to?
Good point.
Do
you want to speak further on that? What do you mean they might be able to, but others wouldn't? What is a possible implication?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why they have. Well, and I know at one point it was like $14 trillion worth of assets under management. I guess then it was 10. Now it's 9. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well,
but
yeah, it's different rankings. I've seen 11. I've seen 9 all in the past 2 days. So, yep.
But regardless, they're number one. And there's a reason for that. Why were they basically given to Ukraine on a silver platter to help rebuild, along with JP Morgan and nobody else? Like, what else is going on? Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of effort. A lot of these groups are going to be trying to get in. But I also believe that some of them, to some degree, are probably already in a little. I mean, maybe not through like these ETFs or anything, but I mean, Fidelity's been in the business now. I mean, they were one of the first ones to get in. Like, I don't know how many years ago was that. It's been like a couple years at least. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, everybody's going to be in. I just think that ultimately, who are going to play the biggest roles in keeping all of the other altcoins out of the equation? And I think that is likely going to play some sort of factor in some of this, because I think that the people that play the biggest factor in keeping some of the other cryptocurrencies out of the picture are likely going to be the ones rewarded with a better position in terms of what they're able to do with Bitcoin. But that's just my opinion.
All right, rewarding the earlier players of the game that were, doing what they're being told. The whistle blew. They said, all right, we'll jump, and we'll just ask how high. All right, well, speaking of jumping, I'll crank 90s over all of you when it comes to Fortnite. You can never actually, I'm not that good at Fortnite. I play zero build. Well, Fortnite and Nike collab coming soon. This is, one of the most lucrative gaming franchises in the world, with the world's #1 shoe manufacturer. I did pull up their numbers. V-Bucks in 2022. Owen, do you want to throw out a guess the amount of V-Bucks they sold in 2022? Just throw out a number. $5 billion in V-Buck sales in 2022, just alone. Over the last 30 days, 242 million active players. Guys, a 250 million. There's only like 7-8 billion people on planet Earth. It's 1 out of 32 people playing this in the past month. In a tweet, Nike did confirm Ultimate Sneaker Hunt does begin June 20th. Details are light, but it looks like you're going to be able to use some sort of a dot swoosh asset that is Nike's digital arm, using Fortnite Creative, which allows you to use custom maps with Fortnite assets, and then you can build specific kind of game modes there. Also, Nike, no stranger to NFTs. They had also announced a partnership June 1st with EA Sports. So we're seeing EA, we're seeing Fortnite, we're seeing all these game manufacturers teaming up with these brands and foraying into Web3. Now, we got big brands, Forrest jumping in here. What is the JPEG community? I say that lightly. Can the NFT community and the video game community ever get along? What is it going to take for them to get along? Do we need a NFT of Pikachu to make it happen? Do we need Madden football skins? Will it never happen? What is this marriage going to look like? Is it going to end up in a rocky divorce?
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where NFTs and cryptocurrencies find their ways into video games, but at the end of the day, it only works if there's a more profitable business model to be had, right? Like, you just kind of gave us the numbers on V-Bucks. Like, Fortnite doesn't need to launch a cryptocurrency. They don't need to launch NFTs. The only way they will do so is if it's more profitable and there's a really clear legal path where there's not a ton of risk, right? They could launch V-Bucks as a tradable cryptocurrency, but then what? Like, if you can just go and buy peer-to-peer V-Bucks from somebody else that has already purchased them, why would Fortnite want to allow that? Because then they're missing out on the person that they want to be the only person you can buy V-Bucks from, right? and they don't want to let you trade them from person to person, they could launch these Fortnite skins and like these in-game items and packs as NFTs and allow you to trade them back and forth, and they could take a royalty fee on that and kind of go with the exchange model. And OpenSea's made a ton of money doing that, but they kind of have a really good thing going on right now. So until they can prove that they're going to make more money and be more profitable by allowing peer-to-peer trading and not have to take on the risk of being labeled as a security by the SEC, then I think we'll see a probably slower adoption than what a lot of people think. I think the real project to watch in this space is going to be Other Side with Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I'm not saying that I'm super bullish on that. I'm actually kind of not. I'm really interested to see how they actually attack this, because if they can come up with a profitable business model that other people can copy, then I think we'll see proliferation in this space. But otherwise, I think you're going to see more of the same of what Fortnite's doing.
Yeah, I would agree. They won't sell V-Bucks on a secondary. They want to make money. I'm sure this Nike partnership is with, there's got to be some sort of cut. They're getting a piece. Nike gets a piece. Now, Army Piper, you played Fortnite over the weekend. Okay, let's create some sort of timeline here. From this weekend, we have the announcement. You got your victory with your son. Fast forward to you after you play and you get a victory, you earn an NFT that you could then sell. Maybe you get Wax, Ethereum, Solana, Polygon. We don't know, but you could turn it into cash. What kind of timeline are you giving this? Is this something by next summer? Is this something infinity? Because we'll never see it. Maybe 5 years. What would you give this as far as duration of length?
So I actually have a different perspective on all this, DZ. And so I've been talking about this for about a year and a half, because the first time that I sat down with my kids and played Fortnite with them, my kids are older and they're like, one's in Houston, one's here with me. And so this was a way for me to sit down, connect with my kids, let's go check out some Fortnite. I played Call of Duty. It's not much different, right? I actually think that this is the best thing that could happen to NFTs breaking into Web2 gaming. And we've been trying to make Web 2 games in the Web 3 world for metaverse. I actually think it's a crossover hybrid to the Web 2 where all the people are already at. I mean, look what Epic Games did with Ukraine. They raised $144 million in sales for Ukraine that they donated over there. That's a lot of money that this market of players gets behind. And so what I think is going to happen is you're going to have things like these Nike NFTs that are going to be tied to an icon skin. And that's what's going to be what's sold. So you get an icon skin, and then you can swap out different NFT clothing items and skin items, such as shoes, so on and so forth. Those then, what it would be smart for Epic Games, and I hope to take notes here. Take notes, Epic Games. They need to open up a marketplace, because if you really think about it, V-Bucks are a Web 2 stablecoin. So if they went ahead and they went with that angle and they set up a marketplace for people to sell these NFTs on a resale market, well, if you get somebody that placed first place in the championship wearing one of these NFTs, and now they're going to sell it on this marketplace that Epic Games can take a percentage cut like an auction house does, they're going to make a lot of money down the road on the resale of these items that people are going to want. If you look at what they already do, they did concerts. I've watched whole concerts in the metaverse on Fortnite with my kids. Hey, come check out this artist. He's pretty cool. Those literally could be other NFT projects where you buy your ticket into an icon concert within the metaverse of Fortnite, and you get to hang out with other people and your little silly skins and your fish sticks, doing some thread and doing some dabbing and whatever it is in Fortnite, right? My kids taught me TikToking in Fortnite, so I'm hip now. But I think that's the future of gaming. If you want to find successful crypto gaming type things, NFTs, Web3, it's going to have to be tied to something major on the Web 2 side. And I think Fortnite is the perfect outlet for it. And I think that Epic Games is seeing that there is a format and a platform for them to make money off of this, and for people to make money off of taking their simple Nike NFT shoe, winning a competition, and turn around and flipping that for 10,000 V-Bucks. You just got to remember, V-Bucks, no one has to buy or sell them. It's literally a Web 2 stable token when you look at the NFT side of this game.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. It's a stable token. I don't know what it is. It's not pegged to $1. Well, it is pegged to $1, but it's different denomination there. Great idea with the ticketing of events. I think we might see that it could be a Star Wars movie release, a Spider-Man. Still probably the safest place to watch a Travis Scott concert. I heard they're quite breathtaking live. Great shows, those, what I hear. All right, well, Crypto Crow.
But,
yeah.
They need to get rid of that sweaty. They need to get rid of that sweaty Travis Scott skin, though, man. I hate playing against those guys. When I see Travis Scott,
Hey,
I'm like, this guy's sweaty already.
I'm a John Wick skin, so I can't say anything about sweat skins. Now, Crypto Crow, we're looking at $5 billion in V-Bucks. Well, Piper brought up the idea of an NFT marketplace. I could see that going two ways. One, it might reduce the sales of new skins, but on the other end, you might create FOMO for limited time skins. You know, Spider-Man comes out, you got a skin that you only sell for 24 hours. Then you sell it on the marketplace. People see that skin go up. Well, I better buy the next skin. I better buy more V-Bucks. Will they ever branch out into a NFT style external marketplace?
Well, as much as I'd love to claim to be some form of expert on Fortnite, I have never actually played that game for more than 5 minutes. So I don't know. But when I see how it compares, you know, obviously Fortnite is big. My daughters were really big into it for a long time. And, you know, all of the kids love Fortnite. And it's one of those brilliant ideas, man. I mean, wasn't that one of the first big free to play with, you know, supplemental income from skins and all kinds of different things? So it's obviously done really well in a very addictive game. It was very competitive, still going strong. Social media blew it up all over the place. So listen, I think anything is possible. But if they, you know, right now it's not on any blockchain, is it? Like, I don't think it's on, it's like an internal token. It's like right now on Soblox, we have like our internal block token. It's not on chain yet, but it's just something that we use. And then someday they're going to be distributed out to everybody, when we do go on chain. Right. And so it's really nothing more than like an internal ledger. So people are ultimately buying like virtual tokens that don't exist anywhere. To correct me if I'm wrong, and then they're just using them as tradable vouchers, right, to get stuff. And so, listen, that's cool. I'd love to see it expand. I'm looking at like things like Cornucopias, you know, real metaverse projects that are already building these, already have a marketplace, are already, you know, the game obviously hasn't launched yet. The metaverse hasn't launched yet, but they're building a framework for all of this stuff. And rather than these companies create a new system, right, where we've got 50 million different systems out there, different marketplaces, why can't we all just work together and settle on one, or have one central interoperable hub that brings all of this stuff together, and then maybe brings it all together in a UI that is compatible with all of the different metaverses, so we never actually have to leave the metaverses we're in. I mean, that's the goal anyway, right? The World Economic Forum wants to just keep us all locked up in a room without ever leaving outside. Nobody wants, so like that's the best way to do it. Just make it all very easily accessible across all platforms, across all virtual worlds, so that we never have to leave our home. And yes, I do think it's just a matter of time until that happens. You know, it's definitely coming. It's just a matter of when, what blockchains all of these different companies decide to work with. And hopefully it's quality ones like Cardano, not just the latest shitty layer one, just because it claims a high TPS throughput, and that's about it. But yeah, ultimately it's all coming.
Hey, validations on the blockchain are transactions too, Crypto Crow. I don't care what you say. Really good points there with the cornucopias. Really good cut. There's an indie game developer, does have a project, COPI, if you want to check it out. But Frankie, I'm thinking of indie games. We have Among Us, does really, really well. We have Fall Guys. You know, some of these smaller games can compete with a Fortnite, can compete with a Call of Duty when it comes to actual playtime. So I'm looking at, on one end, you have the large corporate players, the Fortnites, the Nike, the Adidas. On the other hand, you have the indie game developers, the Yuga Labs, the Candle Mafias of the world. Who is going to push gaming furthest? Is it going to be the soulless corporate boards, but with the deep pockets? Or is it going to be the brokies in the basement, but they got the heart?
Ooh, that is a good question, DZ. I will say this, as far as Fortnite, you know, I went through, you know, I played Fortnite a bit when it first came out. So I would say, listen, the soulless corporations with the deep pockets are always going to have somewhat of an advantage. But, you know, I think you mentioned earlier that, you know, the gaming community and the NFT crypto community always has like a hard time getting along. And I think it is really that, you know, that underground real gamer kind of like lifestyle, right? Like that real like underground group of people that they don't. I think a part of the reason they don't like crypto is it almost seems like hey, that's like, oh, we don't care about crypto. Like they're too cool for it, right?
I thought you were gonna go like they're gremlin like.
Well, maybe some of them are like that too, but yeah, I listen. I think that if there is a soulless corporation with deep pockets to make this happen, I mean, what better game to do it than Fortnite, right? We can't forget that Fortnite completely changed the gaming community in general, right? Like how many games have come out that are clearly inspired by Fortnite, or how many real big games have taken taken a note out of Fortnite's book and kind of adjusted their stuff to make it, take some of the good things out of Fortnite's book and put it into their game. So, I always said this, everybody always talks about these, all these metaverses that aren't a thing yet. And I'm not saying that these aren't going to be great when they actually come to, reality, or I guess not reality, but, when these things actually become real, I'm not saying they're not going to be great, but I always said, listen, we have metaverses. Like we have a metaverse. Fortnite is like the best example that I could think of an actual metaverse, right? And like Crow was saying, like it's not like anything lives on chain or anything, but they, especially with the skins, right? A lot of people will get rare skins that were only released in a certain season, and you have to get to a certain level to get that skin, right? So that already adds a level of rarity to that. If you can't get to that level, you can't have the skin. But what if I'm really good and I have all the good skins? I always get the best skin every season, and but you just you're willing to buy the skin. You don't care if you didn't work your way up to it. You want to pay to win, right? You just want to buy that skin. Well, I can benefit by putting it up. If it is an actual NFT, you can make these NFTs. You can actually make some money reselling this stuff, but then you're getting into making an actual marketplace. And DZ, you said that obviously has its drawbacks as well. But I would say this: listen, don't underestimate the gaming culture, but the soulless corporations with the deep pockets, I think have a good chance at being the thing that really makes this come to fruition. So, and what better company to do it than Epic Games, and what better game than Fortnite, which is basically already a full metaverse with tradable. I don't know if you can trade the skins yet, but all you have to do is add that tradable factor into your skins, and you have a full-blown metaverse, right? And then you would want to work to get it on chain and all that. But I think what better game to do it than Fortnite? That's all I got.
I'm the guy that undercuts the floor. I'm gonna sell my NFT $1 cheaper than you. All right, let's go a nice lighthearted story here. Extraterrestrial story. Let's share this picture. The search for the first detected interstellar meteor continues. This is a meteor that's been confirmed, I guess, to have traveled outside of the Milky Way here. And here every day finding more. This is from Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano's Twitter. If you go to this guy is posting regular updates on their expedition. Just click on this and then click on his name. Last I saw was 14 hours ago. So yeah, 2 hours ago. Yeah, first shock resisting steel in the debris field, corroded iron, all types of weird materials are being found, titanium, alloys. So it's some wrinkles to the story for sure, but it's an expedition. It's an interstellar origin meteor from 9 years ago. The Department of Defense have confirmed its existence, and the study or this research team is led by Harvard as part of their Galileo project. And many people believe that the meteor that has crashed in the ocean could be actually a fragment of a UFO. And this isn't Charles' first scientific foray of something like this. He also literally is trying to resurrect a woolly mammoth, has donated, I believe, $1.5 million to make that happen. All right. Well, we're going to breeze through this. This is a little fun thing. Let's start with Army Piper. You are former Navy, so that kind of reminds me of, some of those Tic Tac videos we've seen. Have you seen any compelling evidence that might make you think that there could be something out there?
How was the Navy? Navy Piper?
First off, love the Navy, but I was not in the Navy. I'm Army Piper.
Army
States
Piper.
Army. 21 and a half years. 21 and a half years, and I still have 11 days from today until I officially retire. So
three points for the wrong service.
No one's. Make sure there's no one around here. So I worked in the intelligence field. I currently hold a TS-SCI, sensitive compartmentalized intelligence security clearance with the federal government.
After this.
And I would rather be in crypto than take one of those federal jobs that they keep throwing at me. But anyway, so here's the deal. I was seeing the videos that the FOIA released last year on the naval pilots that were following the UFOs around, trying to keep up with them when they picked them up on radar. Hey, we've got something off of the port side of the ship. Send out this aircraft and go chase it down. Look, we've got the most technological, advanced targeting systems in the world in our aircraft. They literally don't lock onto an item; they lock onto signatures. Everything has a signature. If you walk across the room, there is a particular sound that the density and mass of your body gives off, and that is a signature. Just like different heat signatures, PIR, passive infrared, right? It picks up heat temperatures and it can see a signature that's a known signature. So all of our stuff is designed to pick up and lock onto known signatures. We couldn't lock onto these things that were flying through the sky at all. Could not keep up with them. Our aircraft at the top Mach speeds could not keep up these aircraft. They were tripling and quadrupling what our capabilities were. And our systems could not even stay locked onto them to pick up enough information to send back on the targeting radar system. And I saw these videos years ago. When we released all that stuff last year, I was super stoked about it because it was something that I've had to keep my mouth shut for years about, that I saw in one of our classified systems in a SCIF, sensitive compartmentalized intelligence facility, that was starting to come out. So yes, I have absolutely seen things that if you look at what defines a UFO, an unidentified flying object, yes, it was absolutely unidentified. It was flying and it was an object of unknown origin. So when I see things coming out like this, I can 100% go, yes, I think that there is some things, a lot of things that we still don't know out there. To think that life will always find a way, to think that we are the only planet in the entire universe that found the right amount of centrifugal force to the right amount of gravity to stay within a thermal barrier away from a star or sun that could produce life and water. That's really, really small thinking, I think. And even if you look at it from a religious aspect, God creates things that are amazing, and why would he only create one when you have star after star? There's billions of stars. That's billions of chances for another Earth. Yeah. Those are billions of chances for more intelligent life. So,
and I would take it. Read the actual description of an angel. That's an alien. All right. Now, Crypto Crow, just as a thought experiment, Charles, he's out there. Charles finds alien spacecraft. What will that do to Cardano's price? I can imagine a gigantic marketing or just a lot more recognition of the coin.
Okay, so first I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. I am actually a descendant of the Nephilim. Okay, I am British. For one, I'm 86% British according to the papers. And what people don't realize is that I am a descendant of aliens. And that's, for those of you that don't know, they've been hiding details of my ancestry for a long, long time. I'm descendant of the giants that roam the earth. And, a lot of people wonder why British people's teeth are always jacked up. And it's because originally, when our ancestors had multiple rows of teeth. Okay. And that's proven. That's real. Right. So I am all about aliens. Okay. And I'd love to learn more about my ancestry, things that 23andMe just has not been able to tell me. And so like if they find some spacecraft of some of these guys we used to bat out of the sky back in the early days of the earth, then cool, but it's not going to do shit for Cardano. I don't know how it would. I don't know why it would. The reality of it all is it all sounds cool, and maybe it draws some attention to things and draws some attention to Charles, but unless they somehow figured out a way to, I don't know, do something on the blockchain, or maybe they fractionalized it as an NFT and they said, own a piece of this alien craft and it, on the Cardano blockchain, then other than that, I would just say, teach me about my ancestors, man. Like whatever you dig up, share it with me on Telegram. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about it. Charles finds it. The coin that pumps is probably Ethereum. They look at Vitalik. They'll see that he worked there, and they're like, "Oh, well, clearly that's connected to that project." All right, now
many fuzzy videos containing UFOs and alien beings, so there's no telling.
Hey, what was in Vitalik's pocket with that one picture? We don't know. Maybe he was phoning home. Frankie Candles. There's not a coin you won't trade. All right, you'll trade the change out your grandma's couch. If there is a civilization on Mars, what currency are we going to be using? Is it going to be a crypto? Which one? Is it going to be fiat? Is it slivers of metal? What are we doing when we're on Mars?
Well, listen, I think if we wind up colonizing Mars and they are trading, I mean, you would have to trade Dogecoin, right? I mean, if Elon's going to get us there, Doge is Elon's thing. So I think we trade. I think we would trade Dogecoin. Uh, but this is really interesting, right? Because I've been seeing this stuff all over the place. Like recently, they're just like coming out, releasing, it seems like document after document, video after video, talking about UFOs. I love, I'm so interested in this stuff. It's fascinating to me. And every time I want to talk about it, people are always like, oh God, this guy's crazy. But now all of a sudden it's like on the news and stuff. It's pretty interesting. I will say, I don't think this would do anything for Cardano. But yeah, I mean, hey, shout out to Charles for being out there. Like Crow said, I'm just mad I'm not out there with them, because it would be really cool. And it is interesting that they're finding metals like titanium, because I'm not an expert on metals or anything, but I don't think titanium is naturally occurring. I don't know how you make it. I don't know if it's like derived from another mineral or something, but it is interesting, right? They're finding these interesting metals that might not occur just completely naturally by themselves. Maybe there is something. And I will say this, I do believe in aliens. And I do think that I think like Army Piper was saying, I think it's really small-minded to think that we're the only things out there, especially if the universe is as expansive as we think it is. It's like almost a certainty that somewhere out there there is something. But I think the likelihood of them finding us might be small, but maybe, like Crow said, maybe they're just our ancestors. So,
all right. Well, hey, Crypto Crow is kind of tall. I think there might be something to that theory of his. All right, Forrest, last question here. I want to ask you this one because marketing. If you want to know some marketing, look at Forrest's Twitter. He does a really, really good job here. So I want to ask you about Charles' previous work with the woolly mammoth. Is there any better marketing in the world for Cardano for him to resurrect an extinct species and then name the woolly mammoth Ada?
I think that would be the worst marketing. I think that would send Cardano and everything else in the world to zero, because if they start with a woolly mammoth, what are they going to do next? They're going to do a T-Rex, right? They're going to jump to a T-Rex, and we're going to have a Jurassic Park situation on our hands. And that does not end well. So I don't know if we'll be trading much of anything in a scenario where that happens. I mean, look, jokes aside, that would be kind of cool. I think it'd be like kind of a cool, fun fact and draw some attention to Cardano. But I'm in the camp with Crypto Crow. Like, I don't know how that would do anything in particular to boost the price. I think it would raise awareness. More people would be like, oh, cool. This guy also did work with a woolly mammoth, but and he founded Cardano, and maybe I'll buy a little bit of Cardano and add that to the portfolio just out of like an awareness thing. So as an awareness campaign, maybe it does a little bit for the Cardano price, but long term, I don't think we're going to see any like Dogecoin level pumps where it 3x's just because they resurrect a woolly mammoth.
All right. Well, make sure you hit that like button if you believe in aliens. So we put it in the Twitter, or we put it in the YouTube chat. Are there aliens? 78% of you think yes, we are not alone. Fox Mulder is right. And Forrest, to your point, I do know how to take care of dinosaurs. We go full camera. I'm just going to do what Chris Pratt did. Just do this. That's all you have to do. I saw it on a movie. All right, I think that's all. And I'll get Newman. Newman will help me out. Samuel L. Jackson. Guys, we'll figure it out. We got this. All right, we got this. But that is all we have time for. And it looks like not the Navy Piper. It is Army Piper. I'll get it right henceforth. Not Air Force, nor Coast Guard. Army Piper. You end up taking it home. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts. And what will Chucky Ho Ho find?
So thank you for having me on, DZ. And it's always an honor to be on shows like this with people of the likes of like Frankie Candles, Crypto Crow, and Forrest. Like, these are legends in the community when I got into watching crypto and stuff. So it's an honor to be on with these guys, to be involved with people like around the blockchain that I've watched daily forever, and being tied in to the most amazing community of investing bros with the best indicator service out there, Chart Prime Indicators. So I'm blessed and I'm honored, and it's always great to be here, man.
All right, now I don't know if this is real, but they also said he's bringing back the dodo bird. Charles, is there anything you won't do? How about this? Pump my bag. All right, we're kidding. That's all we got. Make sure you hit that like button. Look, cheap aid is just a better chance to buy, right? That's all I'm going to say. All right, hit that like button. Make sure you check out everyone's channel. Links will be in the description below. They're all putting out great stuff. And Frankie's going live in 5 minutes, folks. So you might as well go
I'll
hang
see
out
you
in
in
the
5
web.
minutes, Frankie.
All
Let's
right.
go. I gotta hop off.
Y'all have a good one.